Hello to everybody here. It's Teresa Sanderson, as always. So excited to connect with you for the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. And today we have with us a very special guest, Dr. Elisabeth Collins. And between you and me, it can be difficult to connect with Dr. Elisabeth Collins just because she tends to be a little bit of a world traveler. So, Elisabeth, I want to thank you so much for sharing some time with us today.
Hi, Teresa. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I just love that you're here. So for those of you who don't know Elisabeth Collins, I want you to know that she started her nursing career as a CNA and has worked her career all the way up to the level of DNP. And she's now an entrepreneur, owns a business called MedAlign Innovative Solutions. And I love that title. But she's also been, as I said, a world traveler. So when she passed her NCLEX exam, pretty much right after passing that exam, she and her husband moved to Okinawa. And that is where she found herself starting out to practice as a nurse and also continuing her education. So love the history that you have. And I know that you also have a passion for medical missions and medical mission work. So it's my pleasure to welcome you, Elisabeth. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much, Teresa. Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm glad we were able to finally connect.
I know. So, I went briefly through your bio just now, just a real skim of what you have been doing these last several years. But what I'd like to do right now is just give you the opportunity, Elisabeth, to share with us a little bit of what your nursing journey has been like. I know you started out as a CNA, and how did you see that progression, and what kind of settings have you worked in as a nurse practitioner, and that kind of thing. So tell us a little bit about your history.
Sure. So nursing is actually a second career for me. I was a teacher for 8 years prior to becoming a nurse. And then I kind of always had in the back of my mind that this interest in nursing and thought I might pursue it eventually. And so I took a CNA class just to see if I could handle like the sights and smells of nursing. And turns out I loved it. I loved working with the geriatric patient population in the nursing home. And that really propelled me to apply to nursing school. So I went to an associate degree nursing program, kind of transitioned out of my teaching career. And I primarily, like you mentioned, I moved overseas shortly after passing that NCLEX. And, that came with additional challenges and obstacles I had to overcome. I thought it would be easy just to find a job right away as a new grad. I had never had a problem finding a job, but it proved to be a lot more challenging than I thought. But I ended up working in the ER at the Naval Hospital in Okinawa and really gained my experience there. I had been working already in the hospital setting as a CNA for a couple of years during nursing school. But yeah, I started working as an ER nurse and I enjoyed it. I loved the pace of, the ER. But I kind of there was this little tug that I wanted to do a little bit more with my nursing journey and my nursing career. And I think for a couple different reasons, I thought, is there a way I could have more autonomy with my patients, help guide them in their decision-making for their health. And then also, can I do more with the healthcare system? I came across, some things in the system, as we all do as healthcare professionals, that I wanted to fix.
Yep.
I'm a person who sees problems, as we all do, right? And then I want to fix them. And so I found that as a registered nurse, I didn't always know who to take those problems to. And sometimes if I took my problems to someone, nothing happened. Like it just felt like nothing was getting fixed. So it was kind of a culmination of things really that pushed me to further my education into graduate nursing and finish my master's degree program while living overseas. I did clinical rotations all over the place. I did them in Okinawa, Japan. I came back to the States and did multiple rotations. And then I actually did a rotation in Guam. And that's a U.S. territory in the Pacific, for those who don't know. And so as I was finishing my master's degree, I finished the degree and I took boards and became a dual certified nurse practitioner. So I'm a family nurse practitioner and adult geriatric acute care nurse practitioner certification. And, we were kind of trying to decide as a family, do we stay in the Pacific region? Do we move back to, the US? What do we do? So we decided to stay. And the problem is I couldn't find a job as a new grad nurse practitioner in Japan. And so I ended up taking a job as a hospitalist nurse practitioner in Guam. And so for a couple years, I commuted between Japan and Guam as a hospitalist nurse practitioner. I would go to Guam, I would work for a couple weeks, I would come home to Japan, and I'd be off for a couple weeks. So it worked for me. But then I eventually ended up finishing my doctoral degree, was able to implement a project on improving acute stroke management, and that led into further opportunities as time went on. That's my journey in a nutshell.
That is just amazing. I love that, commuting even between countries. I think that's just remarkable. Brings a whole new level to the word commute. So
right. An 8-hour day of flying.
Yeah. So, and I'm feeling like we're tipping, we're hitting the tip of the iceberg here on what drew you into entrepreneurship, as you are someone who identifies problems. And like you said, most every nurse, I think we go in and we say, oh, good gosh, why are we doing this like this? Why is this happening this way? But it sounds like that may have been the seed for what drove you into entrepreneurship. I'm not sure, but that's what I would love to hear from you now is, what caused that transition? Here you were, you started out as a teacher, then you moved into this role as a nurse, and then you stretched a little bit further now and you're going into the world of entrepreneurship. What was the catalyst on that?
Yeah, that's a great question. Because really, unlike a lot of nurse entrepreneurs, I really have enjoyed clinical practice. I've enjoyed, what I've done, and maybe a lot of entrepreneurs can say that too. But it wasn't that I wanted to get out of clinical practice. It was more, I really value freedom and flexibility of schedule, and traveling, plays a big role into that as well, of course. And really, my journey into becoming a nurse entrepreneur was threefold. One, making healthcare better. That's definitely, I think as nurses, we have a lot of opportunities to do that. And I could see a future in that as a nurse entrepreneur. And then secondly, I wanted to do more with global medical missions. And I knew that in order to have the time to spend doing that, and to have the financial means to do that, I needed to replace essentially my nurse practitioner income. And so that was a big catalyst as far as my why. And then, kind of all came to a head during the pandemic, honestly. I was commuting between, Japan and Guam for work. And then the pandemic hit. And then it's like international travel stopped. It just became a bigger challenge for me. And then on a personal note, I got pregnant with my first baby. So, it had taken a while to get to that point in life where I was ready to have, a family and wanted to really spend some time at home with my daughter. And so I think she's a big why as well for becoming a nurse entrepreneur. I would say those three reasons.
I love that. And I love the clarity that you have around all of those reasons, making healthcare better. Boom. I mean, that's like a mic drop kind of thing. And, the autonomy, freedom, flexibility, and then your daughter, beautiful. Love the clarity. And that has to be, all of those big reasons would make anybody want to jump out of bed in the morning. Those are exciting things to be working on, to be focused on. So yay, you. So tell us, how do you serve your clients in your business? What are you actually doing? And how do you serve them?
Yeah, absolutely. So MedAlign Innovative Solutions is the name of my business. It's a healthcare consulting and educational services company. And it's really threefold how I serve my clients. So I do quality improvement and disease-specific certification. And really that aspect of my business all kind of came from my doctoral project. I was doing a project as a DNP student that turned into me writing a proposal for my employer to create a role where I would continue doing the work that I had done as a student. And so through that, my employer became my client. And so that is one area of my business. And then the second area is chronic care management. Having spent most of my nursing career in the hospital setting, I definitely have seen firsthand the importance of proactive care, right? I've seen those patients that are the repeat ER, clients, the patients who end up being readmitted to the hospital for reasons really that we can prevent. And that's why I really believe in the chronic care management program. It's a Medicare program for elderly patients who have multiple chronic conditions. And it really comes alongside those primary care providers and takes a little bit of the workload off of them. And my company, we offer that service for primary care providers. So that's one aspect of my business. And then the third is the educational services. As a former teacher, I've had a passion for nursing education for as long as I can remember. I thoroughly enjoy educating and mentoring nurses. And so I do that through being a continuing nursing education provider, thanks to you. And then I do enjoy mentoring doctoral nursing students in finding a project, an academic project that they can implement that will be a sustainable change in healthcare, and a project that's meaningful to them. So that's how I help my clients.
OMG, that is incredible. I love every bit of it. And so this is a very, very high level, service business, but solving real problems. Thinking about the whole chronic care situation and also mentoring those students as they are coming up to their DNP level and those kind of things, I think just vitally important. Wow, I love that. So tell us now, what would you say you enjoy most about working for yourself?
Yeah, that's a great question. I enjoy a lot of things about working for myself. It's definitely challenging. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. It's work. Anyone who goes into entrepreneurship realizes quickly that it's not just handed to you, right? It's definitely work. But I enjoy being able to create something. Back right before the pandemic started, I kind of asked God for a passion project. I was just searching for a passion project, and I think my business has kind of become that for me. Like you said, waking up and being excited about getting out of bed in the morning, and being able to do it in a way that is on my own terms and on my own schedule. I get to decide when I book meetings. I get to decide, what works best for me and my family, and also get to take my business with me. I was recently in Japan for 5 weeks, and my husband and I were joking, my business is in my laptop. Like, it's just funny having a remote business as I do, like, you get to take it with you.
Yeah.
Wherever you go. And I really enjoy being able to literally serve clients from anywhere around the globe. So that's what I enjoy.
Fantastic. Yeah. And I think that is so wonderful when you have time freedom. Like you said, it's work. It's work. But hopefully, like you said, and you're hitting on something that I just talked about the other day, which is marrying your passion to your profit. When you can do that, you'll never work a day in your life, right? I mean, yes, it's work, but it's work that lights you up inside. It's work that when you make a difference, when you have the impact that you're looking to have, whether it's for one patient or 1,000 or one nurse or 1,000, it's just wonderful. It's a great spot to be. So love that. Love that. You're doing some amazing things.
Thank you. It's very meaningful work to me. And that's, I think we have one life, right? So you might as well make a difference where you can and do something that's meaningful and impactful if you can.
Fantastic. I love that. And for those of you who didn't quite catch that, we have one life. You might as well get out there and live it big, right? Do the things that your heart is calling you to do. That is amazing. Love it. So now you mentioned you have education as a part of your business, and we worked together a little bit in your nursing CE provider application. So how are you using nursing CE in your business right now? What are you doing with that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a work in progress, honestly. I'm building this program, developing it. What I'm doing is number one is I'm able to provide CEs and in partnership with other organizations, particularly around the thing that I'm passionate about, which is global health and medical missions. And so I recently partnered with an organization who's providing a course on that sort of topic, and I was able to help them provide CEs in accordance with that course. So that's one area that I'm using it. And then another is in my doctoral, my DNP student mentorship program. Those students go through, a 6-week essentially program, and they're able to receive continuing education credits at the end of that too. So yeah, it's really been a blessing to my business, and yeah, thanks to you, it's been a good thing.
Wow. Well, I love hearing that, and such impactful ways. And that's what I think, that's what lights me on fire, I think, about nursing CE, is that it can be so many different things. And I think today nurses need CE done differently. I think, we have to think beyond just what's required for relicensure and really look at what nurses are passionate about and directions that they want to learn
Mhm.
and move into. So I love that you're doing that. So tell me, I would just love to ask you to share. You actually picked up my course, CEU Provider Made Easy,
Mhm.
back in the day when you completed your CE provider application. What was that experience? Can you tell us what that experience was like for you, and how that all went?
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, I did purchase your course, and what I really loved about it was, as you look at, I had done a lot of research. Who do I want to become certified through? I literally researched this topic for probably 2 years before I
Wow.
found you, and so I knew, like, as far as the application process and potentially who I could go through and that sort of thing. But what was different about your course is you gave the templates, because there are a lot of policies essentially that you have to create. You are not just creating a course, you are creating a program
Yeah.
essentially, for your continuing education, and you have to be accountable for that information that you certify. So your course provided some of those templates and just really some guidance on, these are the steps, and it just pushed me really to get it done. And so yeah, I'm really grateful.
Awesome. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. And, you were, I believe, among the first who actually took the course and, you know, went full on forward and got the thing done. I think any online course or on-demand type course, you always have that variable of who's going to take it and run, who's going to buy it and have it sit on the shelf.
Mhm.
But I'm really pleased that the people who have taken the course have been successful in their applications like you have. And I just think that's fantastic. That's the whole goal. So that's the thing that lights me up, is when poof, here's somebody else can achieve their goals, so that's fantastic. Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's mutual. I mean, like, your product essentially was a catalyst to help me achieve my goals too. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really, I think, beneficial. And like you said about the nursing CE, there is such a need for something beyond just clicking through modules and, not really retaining any of that content, and practical continuing education, practical that, like you mentioned, nurses want to learn and will enhance the things that we do in our practice. That's what I'm passionate about as well. So yeah, thank you so much for providing the course, and I
Oh my
definitely recommend it.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm so glad. I'm so glad it helps you. And I love knowing how you're using this, because the future of nursing, I really believe, depends on those of us who are already in the field.
Mhm.
Those of us who are already working to bring up the new nurses and even help the nurses who may be feeling frustrated or burnout or otherwise,
Mhm.
to kind of re-inspire, and
Mhm.
help them keep going. So I love that we're connected in that way.
Mhm.
Now, I have a big question for you, Elizabeth, because we have it as our audience. We have a lot of aspiring nurse entrepreneurs, a lot of nurses who
Mhm.
may be working in a bedside role or a position that maybe they're just not feeling the best about, feeling like, gosh, I wish I had more life balance. I wish there was something else I could do, but I really don't know how. Um, I want more, I want more for my
Mhm.
life. What is the one piece of advice that you would want to share with that aspiring nurse entrepreneur?
Yeah, absolutely. My advice would be don't stay stuck. Like I said, life is too short to stay stuck. Um, there are so many options for nurses, whether it be staying in nursing and cutting back to part-time or PRN while you figure something else out. Nurses are so well equipped to become entrepreneurs because we're resourceful. We are educated in critical thinking. We're connected. There's just so many reasons why nurses make great entrepreneurs. Not that every nurse should become an entrepreneur, but what I'm saying is don't stay stuck. Don't stay miserable. We have one life. And so find the resources to help propel you to the next level and so that you live a meaningful and happy life, essentially.
I love that. So, two things you need to have on quote cards that I'm hearing. Number one, we have one life. I love that. I love that. And then the other, don't stay stuck. Don't do it. Yeah, it's that kind of thing. I always say, I'm from the Midwest, and if you ask an old farmer when's the best time to plant a tree, he's going to say 20 years ago.
Yeah.
The next best time is right now today.
Yep.
So whatever it is, get started, just do something. Yeah, do something and do something different, that's going to inspire you and get you excited again. I love that. Love that. Great advice. Great advice. And so, Elisabeth, I have so loved having you here with us today. And what I'd like to do is give you the next few minutes to just share with our audience how they can connect with you, any programs or services that you have available, anything that you want them to know. The floor is yours.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So yeah, to connect with me, I have two websites, MedAlignInnovativeSolutions.com. That kind of provides a big overview regarding the services that my business offers. And theinnovativnp.com is specific for nurses. So you can connect with me there. I am on social media, The Innovative NP on Facebook or the.innovative.np on Instagram. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at Elisabeth Collins, just my name. So I'd be happy to connect with you. Always looking to, connect with nurses who are looking to make systems level change, whether that be doctoral nursing students or nurses who are, within healthcare and just saying like, I see the problems. I also think I have a fix. How do I go about doing that? I would love to connect with you and give you next steps on that. So yeah, reach out anytime. Find me on social media. I'd love to connect with you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Again, Elisabeth, I just want to say thank you for sharing some time with me and with our audience today. Your story is really inspiring, and I just know our viewers are going to get so much from this interview. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you so much, Teresa, for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Oh gosh, you're so welcome. And to all of our viewers out there, this concludes this episode of the Nurse Entrepreneur Spotlight. So I will see you next time. Bye for now.